June 21st, 9:48 a.m. District Court Defendants Lobby number 3. Welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney, and we are continuing with the trial. What? Prosecutor from Karma, you mean? No, I heard it is his successor this time. Successor? Manfred von Karma was a real sinister man. He pulled all sorts of nasty tricks, also he could win. He was the man obsessed with the word perfection. He had a perfect record for 4 long years. Who knows what sort of dirty tricks he used to get each of those guilty verdicts. And now his successor, I wonder what kind of person they would turn out to be. It's no good. Mystic Maya. Pearly. You showed up. Thanks for coming all this way. I was real worried about you. Hey, where's your mother? Didn't you two come together? Mother is watching over the trainees. She said they have training for 2 days straight with no break. Then you came all by yourself? Yup, I snuck out of the manor and followed a map. Don't tell me you walked all the way here. Of course not. I ran. I can't, oh my. If it takes 2 hours by train, oh man. Sorry, what about the train? Huh? What's a train? I give up. It's time, isn't it? I'm really scared. What if one Karma tries to do something to me? At least I know Mr. Edgeworth would be nicer to me than von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth? Who is that? He's Nick's rival. Well, he's also a friend. I still remember him as though I'd seen him only yesterday. Every trial was scorchingly fierce battle until the very end. It was always back and forth with them, but when your rivals for life, Maya, please don't mention that name ever again. Huh? But why, Nick? I'm sorry, Maya. I forgot. You don't know. He's gone, and he's not coming back. What? Wait a second. What's that supposed to mean? Court will commence shortly. Please proceed into the courtroom. Let's go. Now's not the time to talk about that anyway. And Nick? Well, that's interesting. June 21st, 10 a.m. District Court Courtroom number 2. Court is now in session for the trial of Maya Fey. Are the prosecution and the defense prepared? What is it with this kid? Mr. Wright, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor. Why does he always seem mad at me? Mr. Phoenix Wright. You must be a little shocked because I'm a woman, correct? Hold on. So she's the famed successor from Prosecutor von Karma. I'm Franziska von Karma, the prodigy. I see. I gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Revenge? Is this about her father, Manfred von Karma? If it's something of a personal nature, I'm sure you can. I'm talking. If you're interrupting again, my whip will do the speaking for me. Please speak with your mouth, like a normal person, I beg of you. Make no mistake, I will defeat you. prepare to go down, Mr. Phoenix, right? Prosecutor von Kammer, your opening statement, please. Oh god, having a whip that... Okay, those of Von Karma's blood have only one fate, and that is perfection. The defendant Maya Fey will find no escape from her guilt on my watch. Very well. What is the defense position, Your Honor? Does the defense wish to enter the plea of not guilty? Yes. Foolish fool, who foolishly dreams of foolish dreams. 10 minutes. I give the defense 10 minutes before it changes its plea. That's right. I'll have you running for the justified self-defense plea in no time. Justified self-defense. A plea usually reserved for when a person unintentionally kills in defense of themselves, who could very easily make a solid case that it was self-defense, but the defense stands by the plea of not guilty, Your Honor, because to plead justified self-defense is to say you did kill someone. How foolish. If that's how you want to play it, Mr. Phoenix, right? Then I shall now call the first witness. She is just as scary as her father. Like father, like daughter, I suppose. Witness, your name and occupation. Yes, sir. My name is Stick Gumshoe. I am detective at the local precinct. Get to the point already. Explain to the court the details of this murder. Yes, sir. Everyone would please look at this map. The channeling chamber has no windows, and the door was locked shut. At the time of the murder, only the victim and the defendant were in the room. What were they doing in there? They were channeling a spirit, I saw. Channeling a spirit? That's quite a look of disbelief there, Your Honor. Anyway, a few minutes after the channeling started, gunshots were heard coming from inside the room, sir. A few of the witnesses broke the door down and rushed into the room. And that's when they found that the victim has already been dead, correct? I believe this is one of those most open and shut cases I ever precedented over. I think that thing. So how was the victim killed? I was about to get to that. Stop wasting my time then. Witness testimony. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The shot was fired from point-blank range. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. So the victim was stabbed before being shot. This is the victim's autopsy report. After being stabbed in the chest, he was shot in the forehead at point blank. The court accepted into evidence. Mr. Wright, you may question the witness. Okay. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead. The murder weapon, Detective Gumshoe, whose pistol was it? It was the victim's. The victim's? Now why would he have? Why would he have a pistol? Who cares? The point that you are missing is whose fingerprints are on the pistol. If you're not already paying attention, to that, then I suggest that you start. Fingerprints. There were fingerprints along with the victims. The defendant Maya's face were also on the grip, sir. So the defendant's fingerprints were left on the murder weapon. I walked right into her hands there. Those shots was fired from point blank range. Point blank, huh? So about how far is that? It's anywhere between 12 to 20 inches anyway. And how do you know he was shot at point blank? Mr. Wright, I grow tired of the foolish foolery of the foolish fools of the foolish country. Excuse me? Gunpowder burn. Gunpowder burn. When someone is shot from a point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Gunpowder exploding is what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot, pal. And there was definitely some gunpowder burns left on the victim's forehead. Well, never knew that. Live and learn, I guess. Before the victim was shot, sure, he was stabbed. Wait. Okay, I didn't miss anything. Stabbed. And what was he stabbed with? A fruit knife. I see. And whose knife was it? It looks like it belonged to the face, sir. And of course my fingerprints are all over it. All over it, huh? This does not look good. Ha ha ha. What will you do now, Mr. Phoenix Wright? The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. How severe was the wound? If it had been half an inch more to the right, it would have hit the victim's heart. After a stab like that, it's impossible to fight back, let alone stand. This testimony makes it sound like Maya had stabbed him with the intent to kill. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. Are you sure he was stabbed first, then shot? Yup. Sure as sure can be. One look at the wound and you come to the same conclusion too, pal. A fool is a fool who will only listen to the foolish opinions of the foolish fools. A pistol shot to the forehead at point blank is certainly enough to kill instantaneously. Does it matter then which was first? Think a little more before you open that big mouth of yours, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What a pain. That's enough. We have a clear established how the victim was murdered. Enough. I brought the two murder weapons with me today. Very well, the court accepts them into evidence. Murder weapon was with Gray. 2 shots fired bears Maya and Gray's fingerprints. A small fruit knife belonged to the face. Okay. The date and time of death was June 19 at 3:15 p.m. Eyewitnesses claim to have heard 2 gunshots at that time. And 2 murder weapons, both with the defendant's fingerprints on them, huh? This does seem like an open and shut case. Naturally. This is going from bad to worse. As if the summary just now wasn't oversimplifying things to the extreme. Your Honor, feel free to slam that little gavel of yours. After all, there is no room left for doubt, is there? That's quite true, Mr. Wright. Yes. Even if the facts of all this, do you still wish to plead not guilty? It's the opinion of the court that if you do not adjust your plea, you stand to lose. See, just as I promised, Phoenix Wright. You would change your plea in less than 10 minutes. What will you do, Mr. Wright? Will you change it to justify self-defense? Because now would be the time to do so. This is your final chance. This is a huge decision. I better think this through all the way. Plead not guilty. Bluff to the very end is the thing I have learned in this game. If we plead justify self-defense, we would basically be confessing to murder. After the trial, Maya's life would be ruined and she be labeled a murderer. I can't let that happen. Your Honor, have you reached a conclusion, Mr. Wright? The self-defense will not change its plea. We will accept nothing short of complete acquittal. You have sealed your fate, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Detective? Yes, sir. Present the final portion of your testimony. The final strike. Yes, sir. Now, see here, proceeding run by. Hey! Oh yes, of course. Go ahead, detective, and give your testimony. Think the court would like to hear about the other piece of incriminating evidence. Sorry, pal, but there is an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the murder. As you can see, it's covered in blood. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was shot fighting. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. There was a gunshot wound in that. So this is the costume. There is certainly no evidence of a back spray of blood on this. This piece directly links Maya's face to the crime scene. So, I see. The court accepts this into evidence. The cloth wearing at the time of the murder, there are blood splatter on it. Alright, Mr. Wright. Maya's fingerprints on both murder weapons and blood splattered on her clothes. Could this situation get any worse? What's wrong? You seem to be at a loss. I think this is the last piece of testimony that prosecution should have to offer. Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing. Okay, incriminating evidence. Sorry, pal, but there is even more. Why didn't you say so in your testimony earlier? You're kind of scary today, you know, pal? Come now, Mr. Wright. There is no need for that kind of attitude in my court. Alright, just please stop glaring at me like that. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. Maya's costume. Yeah, she was wearing this when we arrested her. Maya, she's wearing her channeling costume today too. Is she not allowed to wear anything else? As you can see, it's covered in blood. This blood on the costume. Lab result shows that it's the victim's blood. So there is blood from the victim on the defendant's clothes. Definitely not good. So were there any other clues you could glean from the piece of evidence? And well, if you must change the topic, then the good detective here must testify again. But too bad, not enough time. Let's move on. Ah yes, Miss von Karma is perfect correct. Not even the judge is on her side. What? I did not read that right, I think. But if I bite off more than I chew here, what should I do? Why is Miss von Karma suddenly putting up resistance? There must be a reason as to why she suddenly threw out an objection like that. There must be something about this costume. Yes, I just have to look harder. Mr. Wright, Miss von Karma's logic is perfect. There's no way for you to poke a hole in it. Looks like my time is up. So about the costume. There's one little thing. Your Honor? Actually, there is something very wrong with this piece of evidence. What? What are you talking about, pal? Where is the problem you are talking about? I come this far, there is no turning back now. The problem I have with this piece of evidence is here. I asked the court to please take a look at the sleeve of this costume. The sleeve? There is a tiny hole here. A hole? But that wasn't in the report. Hold on. What's this around the hole? It smells faintly of gunpowder. Gunpowder? No one ever told me. A hole that smells of gunpowder? It looks like I found the hole I was looking for. Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that it must be a bullet hole. Order. This is a very grave matter. It's best we correct the court record first before anything else. Wait. Sorry about that. I guess we messed up, sir. Okay, is she actually smiling? What else is she hiding? Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of the evidence still holds. Continue with your testimony that just now was a fluke, nothing more. How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight. While I agree it is a mistake on the part of the police, the prosecution von Karma has said it's true. The evidence still stands. If you do not find a more definitive problem with the evidence, then no way. Detective Gumshoe, please continue with your testimony. Yes, sir. The defendant attacked and killed a person without a doubt was not. He wasn't fighting back. How do you know if he was or wasn't? We couldn't find no evidence that the victim put up any sort of struggle, pal. So did the murderer have a fight with the victim or not? Depending on this, the circumstances around this murder changed drastically. We're in real trouble now. If only I had something to prove that the victim did fight back. That von Karma, she thinks she can decide the verdict with this testimony alone. Well, I find a critical contradiction somehow. And then I have her. Okay. Present this. Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes. Having you call me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling. You said that my client killed a person who without a doubt was not fighting back. Yeah, I did. Then what, may I ask, is the bullet hole you police overlooked supposed to mean? What does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is this what it means to not fight back? You're right. It seems you're correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then it would have changed everything. Alright, the wind seems to be shifting. What is with that? Are you finished yet, laugh? Are you finished yet, Mr. Phoenix, right? Miss Von Karma? It seems that Maya Fey was shot at by the victim. However, there is only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea. That is correct. But I'm sure you remember, Your Honor, what the defense clearly said. They reject justified self-defense and plead not guilty. Now that why, that's right. Which means the defendant has yet not proven anything at all. No. Well, yes, that's true. Furthermore, just the fact that there is a bullet hole in the costume, it's not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense. How so? Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information we acquired added in, of course. You mean by myself? You want me to put together a scenario all by myself? Yes, sir. Right away, sir. What transpired? During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, so while the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. The defendant then picked up one on the opening, took the victim's gun and ended it. This scenario you have put together does make sense. Yes, sir? Well, Mr. Wright? On the surface, it does seem to make sense. However, I won't give up that easily. Please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, your cross-examination, please. There is quite a difference in height between Dr. Gray and the defendant. Add in body strength and it seems unlikely the defendant could have stabbed the victim. Now that you mention it, yeah, I guess. You think you can get away with such flimsy reasoning, Mr. Phoenix, right? Maya Fey was in the middle of channeling, was she not? When channeling with the Korean channeling technique, the medium physically changes. With the nurse's build, the defendant could have easily been a match for the doctor. I don't believe it. She even studied up the Korean channeling technique. Like I said before, I am perfect. About what you were talking about, I didn't quite get it. Never mind. Let's continue with the testimony. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back. Wait. Okay. So he was stabbed, but the stab wound didn't kill him. But if you think about the blood loss, he was probably hurt pretty badly. How badly hurt would you say he was? Actually, I went to give blood the other day, and afterwards I felt a little lightheaded and dizzy. I guess the damage was maybe about 10 times the dizziness. Sorry. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. Where in the world did that pistol come from? It looks like the victim Dr. Gray had specifically bought it for that day. But a handgun? He got it off the black market about 2 days before the murder. Why did Dr. Gray bring a gun? Was he taking precautions against something? The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. So you're saying that the bullet hole is the costume was made then? Sorry pal, but yeah, that's what I think. The two of them were already fighting when the shot was fired. Maya, I'm really glad you weren't hurt. The defendant then picked up the opening, took the victim's gun and ended it. Maya has never fired a gun before in her life. The victims had already taken off the safety. With the safety of even an amateur like you can fire it, just by pulling the trigger. Even me, I wonder. Now, do you understand? Von Karma's logic is perfect. His testimony certainly makes us look very bad. But there's gotta be a contradiction in there somewhere. And uncovering it is going to uncover the truth. I can feel it. Okay. There is evidence here somewhere. Missing the tiny hole on this costume will be the prosecution's undoing. What do you mean? The little hole has actually created a hole in your testimony. That was a lot harder to find than expected. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then this is the gunpowder burn on the costume. Gunpowder burn? This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank and a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Oh. But there is not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume. That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean? I mean that when the shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other. I'm disappointed, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You think you can push a hole in my logic with that? What wishy-washy thinking like that? Anyone can explain anything anyway. Then I implore you to disprove my line of thinking. Let's see. In the middle of the fight, the victim pushed the defendants away. And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How was that? As if that was even possible. According to testimony, the wound from the stabbing was very severe. The victim would not have the strength to push the defendant away very far after that. Well, then, that's right, the defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have just put some space between the doctor and herself. And then, while she was prepared to strike again, the doctor took his shot. That should satisfy even you. That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright? I must be careful, I can't afford to make a mistake here. Consider and think. Something doesn't make sense. There is a fatal flaw in her argument, Your Honor. Fatal flaw? Very interesting. I would love to see where this flaw is. show me something that contradicts my explanation. There has to be a snag in her explanation somewhere. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow, and when she's about to strike, the doctor took his shot. There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. This folding screen. This is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic. What is that? A folding screen? I would like to point a court's attention in the hole in the folding screen. It looks like you already know what I'm talking about. Who? Where? What? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please. Are these two really that clueless? The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through at the height of approximately 8 inches off the ground, which means when the shot was fired, the defendant was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground. Order. This changed everything. Please look at this diagram with the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot, and the bullet hits the folding screen. It hit at this location about 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was in the area. I would say here. Somewhere around here. Oh. The judge's face is scorching like he's just smelled some serious pepper. That is, wait, I just realized I forgot to brush this morning. Excuse me while I'm freshening up. Sure. In the meantime, I want you to think through again, Mr. Wright. Of course, whoops. But it's done, it's done. For now, I should... here. Somewhere around here. She was standing here near the folding screen. Wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground on the height of the bullet hole, but how can you gauge the distance from that? Isn't it possible that the defendant was standing much closer to the victim? That's impossible. But why? You of all people should know the answer of that question, Miss von Karma. If she were shot from somewhere closer, there would be a gunpowder burn. However, there is nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume. Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright, you... I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing away from the victims when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation? Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prosecution has claimed that the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering a final strike with the knife would be ideal. However, where and what has was the defendant doing at that time? Squatting all the way by the folding screen. Exactly. If Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike? Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense. Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason. Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Alright, with this, the rest of the trial be in the blast radius of disaster. You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix, right? To think that you've been able to take complete hopeless cases to this point. Now I know why my papa had a tough time with you. You amuse me. Of all the things to inherit, why did it have to be that small, smarmy smile? Detective, how dare you damage my perfect lord? How is it my fault? You can start repairing your staying by the removing of the 3-strand goatee. Oh, and rest assured, your punishment will come later. Punishment? Well then, Your Honor, I think I had all I can take of this detective face. I think it's time to call in the next witness. Next witness, that gotta be Lotta. Well, the court will take a 5-minute recess. After we convene, we will hear from the next witness. And this is where we end the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, otherwise, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Adios.